Hello, my name is BP Walter and I'm the author of A Version of the Truth. It's a psychological thriller about a mother who is preparing a family dinner party when her teenage son comes to her and says, I found something on Dad's Dropbox account on the iPad and I think it's something really terrible. And the book then flashes back to 1990 in Oxford and shows how this terrible secret at the heart of this woman's marriage is linked up with the terrible experiences with a young girl at Oxford University. Okay, I'm here today amidst the shelves of Waterstones Piccadilly, the largest bookshop in Europe, and I'm going to start off in the general fiction section with an author who probably straddles the genre between crime fiction and general fiction, and that is Donna Tartt with her famous novel, her debut novel, The Secret History. This book has probably influenced my writing beyond any other, and it's a mystery that tells you from the start what happens and then proceeds to go in minute detail across a very upsetting murder case that happens amidst a group of students at university. And the book I wrote is partly a university, a campus novel, and I feel Donna Tartt really gets that electric, intoxifying atmosphere of a group of students studying something that they really care about and becoming very close to each other, and steadily it all spirals out of control. I myself discovered this book at university. I had a housemate who sat and read all of Donna Tartt's novels on the grass during a heatwave, one after the other, and I was really interested as to what was gripping her so much, and she said, start with this one and your life will never be the same again, and she was completely right. I read it and I have been a Donna Tartt fan ever since. It is extraordinary. Okay, we now move around into the crime section for my next choice, which is A Judgment in Stone by Ruth Rendell, which was published in 1978. And this is a very interesting book because it is technically what's known as an inverted detective story, even though there isn't really much of a detective in it. And it has some similarity to Donna Tartt's The Secret History, where we're told more or less at the start who dies and who kills them. And this book is probably best known for having one of the best opening lines, or indeed opening paragraphs, in the whole of crime fiction, which I'll read to you now. Eunice Parchment killed the Coverdale family because she could not read or write. There was no real motive and no premeditation. No money was gained and no security. As a result of her crime, Eunice Parchment's disability was made known not to a mere family or a handful of villagers, but to the whole country. And right from the start, you instantly want to know why she did this and what caused her to commit such a terrible crime against a whole family simply because of her illiteracy. And Ruth Rendell, I think, was the master of the domestic thriller genre, even before it became very big and explosive with books like Gone Girl and The Girl on the Train. She was doing it back in the 1970s, and this is such a short novel, but extremely powerful. And for my next book, we've come round into the children's section, actually, and it might seem like a bit of an odd one out of the rest of the books I've chosen, but I'll explain why it isn't. This is Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire by J.K. Rowling, of course the fourth book in her very famous series. I've chosen this book because not only was it one of my favourites as a child, it is also, I believe, one of the greatest crime mysteries or detective mysteries ever written. And I think if you reread it, if you've read it already, with that in mind, you get a completely different experience. And it's all there, all the clues, all the detection. I mean, to be honest, nearly all the Harry Potter novels are detective mysteries, but this one I think in particular. And I think this one really stands out because towards the end, and I won't give it away for those who haven't yet encountered the joy of the wizarding world, but a very terrible thing happens. A very violent incident is witnessed by Harry, and I think it shows one of the most realistic and truly heartrending portrayals of trauma and trauma from witnessing violence that I've read on the page, and the ending particularly has always stayed with me. So I think out of the whole of the Potter series, this one is probably the absolute best. And to finish up, we head back to the crime section with a very recent novel, actually. This came out in 2018, and it was the first book I read last year, and it remained throughout the whole year probably the best book I read. And it's called The Innocent Wife by debut author Amy Lloyd, who won the Daily Mail Search for a Bestseller competition. And I'm not at all surprised this book won because it is absolutely stunning. It's one of the psychological thrillers I've read, at least for the past few years, that has truly stayed in my memory. And it's about a young British woman who becomes involved with a prisoner on death row. She starts by writing to him and then goes to visit him. And then when they manage to get his conviction overturned, she starts a life with him. And as the book goes on, we realise that there are really serious questions being raised about his potential innocence or guilt. And as she gets deeper and deeper into this relationship and her life with him, she really starts to think, was this a wise decision? And it's really interesting, actually, because with the recent explosion of lots of different documentaries on Netflix and on the BBC to do with true crime and the podcast Serial, at the same time, his case is being followed by a camera crew documenting his release. So we get that added extra true crime aspect to it as well. So yeah, if you're looking for a recent psychological thriller, The Innocent Wife is absolutely sublime.